It's me, it's Queen Aset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Alright guys, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to someone else who might want to hear about this particular topic. Now, this is an interesting one because I've seen this kind of situation occur more than once, and they work out in a number of different ways. But we're going to answer this question I'm going to answer, and you guys are going to discuss, hopefully, in the comment section, this question this lady asked me, and maybe we can get her some help, okay? She said that her husband of 27 years wants a divorce. And she asked him why, and he said he's not in love with her anymore, and he doesn't want to go to counseling. He just wants to sever the relationship. Now, the wife who told me that this totally blindsided her. She had no idea he wasn't in love with her anymore. He was still acting the same way, doing the same things. They were still going the same places. Nothing in their relationship has changed in all this time. So she had no idea. This totally came out of left field. So she said to me, I don't want a divorce. I don't want to lose my husband. So what can I do to hold on to my relationship? And this is the thing, okay? And some of you guys can chime in, please. I understand you don't want to lose your relationship. I totally get that. And you want to fight for your relationship. So the first thing I would do is make sure he knew that I said that to him. He said he wasn't in love and doesn't want to go to counseling. But I would make sure that he heard specifically come out of my mouth that I still loved him and wanted to work on our marriage. And if he's not interested, there is nothing you can do. You said, what should I do? If I would make sure he knew that, and if he doesn't want to do it, there is nothing you can do. You can't persuade a person to stay with you who doesn't want to stay. The only thing you can do is make sure that he understands your feelings about this, that you don't feel the same way, that you don't want to get divorced, that you do want to work on the relationship. And if he doesn't want to do that, all you can do is let go. You can't make a person stay with you. As painful as it may be, as hurtful, as blindsided as you may feel, the only thing you can do is honor his request. And that's why I said I would make sure he knew exactly how I felt, because he might feel like you don't care about him or you don't care about the relationship. So I would make sure he knew how I felt. But if he still felt the same way, then there's nothing you can do. The only thing you can do is allow him to do what he wants to do. And in a lot of cases like this that I've seen in the past, the couples do break up. Not all of them. Some of them broke up indefinitely, permanently. Some of them broke up for a certain amount of time, and that time was enough for them both to see that they really did want to be together. So these all work out in different ways. But the first step is making sure he knows verbally, and not being like, okay, he knows how I feel. No, make sure he knows how you feel. Make sure you say it, not just assume that he knows. And if he's still saying, I don't want to go to counseling, I'm not in love anymore, all you can do is let go. And will that mean that he may come back? Possibly. Will it mean that it's over permanently? Possibly. You're not going to know that until you see, him go through his process. So I would honor his request. I would honor his wishes. If he wants a divorce, I'll give him a divorce. I would tell him to go ahead and file, and I'll sign the papers. You want to do this? It's your ball game. You follow the work, you pay for it, you do it, and I'll sign the papers, if that's truly what you want. And of course, you're going to have to decide, just how to split up your assets and things like that. But I would tell him, like, this is your thing. You want this divorce, so you do it, and I'll sign it. No matter how I felt about it, even if I was devastated. Because the bottom line is that you can't maintain a relationship with somebody who doesn't want to maintain. If he says he's not in love anymore, that's pretty profound. And a lot of couples break up because of that reason. Some of them tell me nothing was really wrong. They weren't fighting, none of that. They just didn't feel it anymore. They were just going through the motions day to day. waking up, giving him a kiss, get some coffee. There was no passion anymore. There was no joy anymore. There was no excitement anymore. You know, some of these couples even stopped doing things together. But in your case, you said that you were still doing things together and you had no idea that he had fallen out of love. So, like I said before, I know that's not what anybody wants to hear, but it is where he is. So first of all, let's give him kudos for being honest, because he could have just stayed with you and dragged this on for another 20 years. So we want to give him kudos for being honest. And now it's time for you to honor his request. Make sure he knows how you feel and then honor his request. That's what I would do. And I know that's not the answer that you want. I know that's more of like, it's painful. It really is. It's painful. It's painful to go through a divorce. I've been through a divorce. And I wasn't even where you are. You're blindsided. I totally wanted the divorce. So it still was difficult even wanting it. So I know exactly the kind of space that you're in. But like I said before, it takes a lot to save a relationship. Going to therapy, trying new things, changing your lives. It takes a lot. And both people have to be on board with the program. They have to be on board with the counseling, with the treatment, whatever it is you guys do. And if he's saying, I'm not in love and I'm not on board, that's the end. You can't fight him to stay with you. You can't make him stay with you. I mean, you could. You could refuse to sign the papers. You could be a real, pain in the behind all the way through the process. And a lot of people are. But honestly, I wouldn't do that, because that's not really going to get you what you want. It's not going to get you him. It's just going to, be you throwing spite because you're angry because of what he's done. So if it was me, I would just give him what he wanted and move on with my life. Because you've been married to this one man for 27 years. So it's very feasible that you can meet another man and have another marriage for 27 years. If it's no love there, it's time to move on. Now, you also mentioned that you have pretty much revolved your life around taking care of him and being there for him. So another thing that's going to happen is you're going to have some therapy. Some private therapy, because you're going to have to work through that. You're going to be grieving. You're going to be grieving this loss on more than one level. And since he was someone that you spent most of your time with, that's going to feel like a significant loss. So if it was me, I definitely would do some kind of like after marriage counseling, some kind of grief counseling. Different people call it different things, but I would get some divorce counseling is the point. And I will work with my counselor to release the relationship, to dissolve the relationship. So I know it's not easy for you, and I know it's painful, but you'll be okay. You will be okay. If you do the steps and handle it productively and healthily, you'll be okay in the end. It'll be uncomfortable. It'll be sad. It may even be devastating some days. But if you put one foot in front of the other, you'll be okay eventually. I'm very sorry that this happened to you. I've seen a lot of people go through this, especially in later years. And it's not pretty at all. But a lot of them do get back up. A lot of them have remarried. A lot of the couples that I've experienced this with have remarried. So there is life after a long-term marriage, depending upon how you see fit. Okay? All right, thank you so much for your letter. All right, guys, it's time for me to get going. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to some good people who might want to see it too. Likewise, if you want to get in contact with me, all of my information will be underneath this video. If you want to get a tarot reading, email me. I got you. Okay? All right, guys. My Patreon page information is underneath here as well. If you want to send me a love donation, my PayPal is under here. And everything else you would need to contact me on social media. All right, guys. See you later.